Hello. Now in this video we are going to see how to draw the projections of a cylinder when the axis of the cylinder is inclined to vertical plane. In the previous tutorial we learnt when the cylinder axis is inclined to HP, but in this case inclined to VP. Let us see the question now. Draw the projections of a cylinder of dia 60 mm and height 90 mm is resting on a point of its base on vertical plane and its axis is inclined at 30 degrees to vertical plane. So it confirms that the solid is the cylinder in this question and this cylinder base is resting on vertical plane. So let us see now. You can see here this is the cylinder which is having two bases, the front base and back base. This back base is resting on VP, the vertical plane. When the base is resting on VP, the front view appears as a circle, top view appears as a rectangle. The same I constructed here. Front view as a circle, top view as a rectangle. Now let us draw the same. Take the circle, radius 30. So I am dividing this circle into 8 parts, divisions. Okay, let me activate the p-type. I am taking the cross absolute units, point size let it be 3. Okay, finished. And now I am giving the notations. Okay, A dash, B dash, C dash, D dash, E dash, F dash, G dash and H dash. If you observe, these are the alphabetical notations which represents the front base. You can see this represents the front base, whereas the back base is 1, 2 numericals, which is invisible to your eyesight. When you look from this side, this base is invisible. So that's why I am taking the invisible part inside the circle. 1 dash, 2 dash, 3 dash, and then 4 dash, 5 dash, 6 dash, 7 dash and 8 dash. So with this we completed perfectly the notations of the front and back bases. The outer one represents the visible, the inside represents the invisible. Okay, we completed the front view. Now the top view is the rectangle. So to draw that one, we will erect the projectors till the reference line. Okay, so we erected all the projectors and this is the center point, represents the axis of the cylinder. So from here the axis is 90 mm. Okay, 90, 90, 90, 90. Okay, now we finished all the generators of the cylinder. Now I am drawing the back or rear base of the cylinder and this is the front base of the cylinder. With this we completed perfectly. Let us give the notations for the bases. So this represents the back base, right? So that's why 1, 2, 8, this one 3, 7 and this one 4, 6. This is the 5. So we completed the back base notations, and whereas now this one represents A and this is B, H and this is C, G and this one is D, F and this is the E. Escape. We can adjust perfectly. Okay, now we completed the top view and front view. Now let us give the coloring first. Okay, select, I give the red color. Now, so in the front view the circle is clearly visible, and now I am selecting the back base, front base, extreme generators, which should be highlighted. 0.4 I am giving. Okay, line weight display on. Okay, whereas these are the inside generators, not to be highlighted, let it be the imaginary lines only, whereas this represents the axis, so that's why I am giving just a 0.3 mm thickness. And now to give the axis type, we have to load the lines from the database. Click on load. I prefer center 2 for the axis line. Load dashed 2 for the invisible lines. Okay, as I said, this is the axis. I am selecting the center 2. Perfectly finished. Okay, I have to give the color to this one also. Okay, so with this we completed the first stage, the cylinder base resting on VP. But in the question they asked us that it is resting on one point of its base on vertical plane. If you see, out of this base it is resting on 1. If you observe, it is resting on a point 1, and the remaining complete solid is inclined to VP. You can see the axis inclined at an angle pi to the VP. As of now this pi equals to 30 degrees in the question. Okay, when you see this one cylinder axis inclined to VP, this rectangle in the top view, this rectangle gets inclined to vertical plane. There will be no change in the dimensions in the top view, just this one will turn along with the cylinder. You can see here the same, this is the initial one. In the second stage the same rectangle will tilt at an angle 30 degrees. So that's why what I'm going to do is that just I'm copying all the notations and then okay, Control C, Control V, just I am pasting it here. Control C, Control V, I missed it, that's why. Yeah, so perfectly we copied and pasted it here. Now this axis is 90 degrees to vertical plane. You can see the axis of the cylinder is 90 degrees to vertical plane, but now I have to turn it to 30 degrees. So that's why I am selecting everything. Now rotate, enter. This is the axis, right? Okay, this is the base point with which I am going to rotate. So right now 90 degrees, but I want 30 degrees. So that's why I am taking minus 60 to be rotated in clockwise direction. Minus 60, perfect. Okay. I forget to take this one, that's why. Okay, rotate, click on here, minus 60, perfect. Now I am just moving this point 1 to the reference line. Perfect, means it indicates that resting on a point 1, resting on point 1. Okay, so to draw the front view we need to erect the vertical projectors. Okay, so I erected all the vertical projectors of the front base. Now the back base projectors. Okay, now I am going to take the horizontal projectors. Okay, perfectly, we finished. Now we'll trim the unnecessary portion in the top. Okay, generally it will remove, sometimes it may not, so that's why I'm selecting this thing and then deleting. Okay, after marking the horizontal and vertical projectors, let us give the notations. Now take the M text A1 dash, let the 1 be suffix. Okay, copy, specify the base point, and now I am going to mark the front base. Okay, we completed the front base. Similarly, I am marking it for the back base also. Because of the experience, I am making it here. I will explain it to you. Okay, I finished marking of all the notations. Now let us see, coming to here, the front base, this projector belongs to A, because A is here, A, whereas horizontal projector is A and E. This projector belongs to A and E. This one, the common point is A, so that's why I marked it as A1 dash, whereas this projector belongs to B comma H. If you observe here, this belongs to B and D. This projector belongs to B and D. The common point is B. Yes, and this one belongs to C comma G, whereas this projector belongs to C, so the common one is C. So that's why similarly I am going to change the notations for the remaining everything. E, F, G, H. I completed the front view. Now this is the back one. 1 dash, 2 dash, 3 dash, 4 dash, 5 dash, 6 dash, 7 dash, 8 dash. Okay, now I marked all the notations. Now it's time to check which is visible, which is invisible in the front view. Yeah, so when you see from the front view direction, the front base is clearly visible to the observer. There is no chance of invisible. The front base is clearly visible. That's why the same I drawn here. The front base is clearly visible to the observer. Okay, so that's why I am taking the spline curve and I am starting from A to B, C, D, E, F, G, H, A. Finished. Okay, now when we see about the back base here, see when the observer looks from here to here, the front half of the base will be visible, whereas the back half of the base is invisible. So that's why if you observe carefully in this diagram, the front half of the base is 47562. 47562 represents 4, 5, 2, 6, 7, which is the very clearly visible, and the back side one is the 13847, means above the axis. You can see 43187 is invisible. So that's why we are going to split this into two halves. Yeah, half of the base I completed. Now the remaining half of the base, okay, if you observe, below the axis is very clearly visible to the eyesight, because this is here the front view direction 37465 is very clearly visible. Now this is visible. First let us give the line weight. Okay, yeah, okay, so the front base is clearly visible, and this one 37465 is visible, this one is invisible. That's why I'm selecting this line, and then I loaded the line dashed 2. Okay, dashed 2 for the invisible line. I selected this one, dashed 2. Perfectly we made it. Everything we finished. The final one what we need to do is that the axis line representation. So from here to here, if you observe, so instead of overlapping with the projectors or the construction lines, I removed it, and then from here I am drawing a line, selecting this one, and I'm giving 0.3 mm thickness, color, and center line, axis line representation. With this we clearly completed the projection. Now let us give the dimensions. Height of the cylinder, perfectly. Okay, let us give the diameter of the base, dia 60 mm. Perfect. So one, and also axis inclination angle 30 degrees. Perfectly we made it. Suppose in this case the cylinder base is resting on 1, that's why you can see resting on 1. Suppose if we make the resting point 5, what is the case? So that's why already I made it. Instead of saving the time, you can see now here it is resting on 0.5. Now when the cylinder is resting on its base on VP, the first one is perfectly correct. Here this is the front base, so that's why clearly visible, and here this is the back base, so below the axis is this one 12837. Now this part remains visible and this part remains invisible, so that's why I am taking this one and then applying the dashed line, and this is the axis line center 2. If you observe carefully, see here this part remains invisible, dashed line, whereas here this part remains invisible, dashed lines. So both the sides I made it. So based on your interest you can go for drawing. In the layout you can cross verify. See, perfectly we represented the dashed line, everything, axis line, everything. So with this we completed the projections of a cylinder when it is inclined to vertical plane.